Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk about Microsoft Entra ID Suite, right? So it is not an Entra ID Suite, but basically it is a Entra Suite. We can call it as Entra Suite. And it has a different modules, or we can say the capabilities of Entra Suite together, right? And what are those? So we will look into them one by one, and I'm going to give you a high level view of those capabilities, right? And then definitely each capability is definitely been widely used across different use cases, different scenarios, but definitely basis on the needs and requirements, each one has to leverage those as per their needs and look into it. But the main thing is that how you can use them, right? And what are those, right? If you are not aware and you may be aware and you haven't seen or used that until and unless we don't leverage it, we really are not going to see anything or any uh, the benefit of that, right? And that is why, or that is when I'm going to talk about all of those, right? And let's go ahead and let me share my screen so that I'm going to take you through one by one, and you should be able to see it here. All right. So the first one is, what is the Entra ID Suite, right? Or how it helps us in what level of configurations, as well as what level of identity and what it does really, right? So Entra Suite is a comprehensive zero trust user access solution across the Microsoft 365 or across the Microsoft Entra Suite or ecosystem, right? Which is unified access policy engine and which works hand in hand with identities, endpoints, and networks, right? So there are many other capabilities, but I am giving you here on high level capabilities, right? So that definitely if I have to go through all those capabilities one by one, even it is going to take a lot of time. And each capability has to offer a lot many things on the feature wise, on the capability wise, as well as the different use cases as well, right? So that's something I can create a separate series of each of those, but definitely in this video, I'm going to give you high level view of each of those capabilities, right? So let's look at the first one. So first one is what? Entra Private Access, which is called as Microsoft Entra Private Access, right? And what it does is, so it is identity centric zero trust network access capability, and which also provides us the networking capabilities during the zero trust in configuration, or it has the zero trust capability that we can leverage, right? And then it is also going to provide secure access to private apps and all the resources over the internet, right? Over the internet, as in it is going to be flowing through Microsoft network, and then it is going to deliver the, or it is going to provide the access levels over the internet with safe and secure resources across the organization, be it inside the organization or outside the organization. And the very most important part of this is that it is going to replace the legacy VPNs, right? So now there might be a questions, is it going to really replace the VPNs? So the questions are, to answer that is going to be something we can definitely replace the VPN, but each user case is different and each has different requirements, right? So to replace the VPN, we either need to uh, change the VPN system, or we need to make sure the VPN is something being used for different use cases or different requirements. And this service is going to be removing, or is going to remove the dependency on the legacy VPNs, right? And then it is going to provide that capabilities for us. So we can leverage this one definitely, and it is going to replace the VPN, legacy VPN at some extent, not 100%, right? And it is again depend on the different requirements, different use cases, and how we look at it to maybe make the changes or maybe deploy the appropriate requirements across the organizations that we wanted to, right? So this is the first one, and let's look at the second one. Microsoft Entra Internet Access, right? So this is the second capability we can say, which is identity centric, which also helps on secure web gateways over the internet for the identities, and it is going to protect the malicious internet traffic and unsafe content which is flowing through. Now, this is also going through the Microsoft network across the globe. It is not going to be only flowing through the network internet. Basically, it is going to flow through the internet, but definitely it is going to be more secure than the unwanted traffic or unwanted malicious internet traffic that is flowing through across the internet, right? So this is going to put an identity-centric secure web gateways on all the different Microsoft networks, and those would be continuously monitoring the traffic that is going to that is going and incoming and going out, right? So all those traffics is going to be followed through, and then it is going to make sure it is accessed over the internet with safe and secure way, right? So this is the second capability we can say, and this is a really great way to use it, right? Without any VPN or uh, without any other additional layer of protection, in short, right? So this is going to be something that we can leverage it effectively. The third is Microsoft Entra ID governance. What this is going to help, right? Or what this can do. Entra ID governance has a lot to offer, right? It is going to automate the identity provisioning, identity onboarding, offboarding, as well as Entra ID access management, right? And apart from that, there are many other we can leverage by creating entitlement management. We can create access package catalogs, right? And then provide the access to the different resources across the organization. So this way, we can make sure Entra ID is going to be really be effective in the uses of governance, as well as it is going to help us to make sure we are following security and compliance at the same time, right? So this way we can leverage Entra ID governance capabilities, and it is going to ensure right access levels to the apps and services are granted to the different teams and different organizations within the organization, and then they can use those resources effectively. And it is also going to help us to make sure we are compliant with the access levels, then access management, as well as access reviews, right? And all other capabilities, which is going to help us in the governance and auditing and everything together, right? So definitely look at this capability, and this is something I have seen and used it, and as well as I have worked on it. So my experience is very great on this, and not only for my experience, but I have seen many organizations are using this capability, and it is something which is helping organizations to achieve their compliance, as well as security, as well as access management and auditing capabilities across the organization. So this is the third one. Let's look at the fourth. Entra ID protection, right? So Microsoft Entra ID protection, what is it? So this is going to help us to protect the identities on real-time basis, right? By using the different capabilities of Entra ID protection, which are including user sign-in, user risks policies, right? And by creating those conditional access policies, we would be able to take the appropriate actions, right? Appropriate actions includes whatever the policy we are going to define. Maybe it could be, let's say we wanted to define a policy that people should not log in from XYZ locations. And those locations, if someone tries to access any resource, then it is going to simply block access, and then we should not allow them to access any of those resources from that specific location. That's the one of the example. There are many scenarios, there are many examples that we can leverage Entra ID protection for these many different scenarios or different use cases. And this is going to be really helpful for us to protect the identities from being compromised. And then it is going to help us to make sure identities are safe and secure. Why? Because identities are the one which in most cases are being identified or maybe considered as the initial or primary layer of attacks and other things, right? So it simply blocks the identity compromises in real time, and then it is not going to let it happen, and we have full control. We can mitigate those situations by deploying the appropriate policies, and then we can take the appropriate actions, right? And it also uses the high assurance authentication and adaptive access policies. By using conditional access policies and by creating those policies are going to make sure it is going to work as expected for users, and we can also prevent the identity theft and everything together, right? So this is the one of the capability. uh, I've seen it is being used across, and it is really effective in the identity management or identity verifications in real time. And the next is Microsoft Entra Verified ID, right? So this is the managed verifiable credential service across Microsoft Entra Suite, and it enables real-time identity verification. So now there are different use cases with this as well. When we wanted to verify the employees, whether they are working, let's say employees are working from remote locations, and we wanted to verify their identities whenever they are calling to our service desk, help desk, right? And they wanted to reset their passwords, or maybe someone is trying to uh, call on behalf of XYZ or a respective person from the organization and saying that, hey, can you reset my password? Can you give me access on particular application? This is my ID, and just give me the access as soon as you can. And I need access to perform a particular job or task, right? And to verify those kind of activities, this is going to be really great service, and which is going to help organizations to make sure those are the verified people or verified customers across the organization, be it internal or external. And then they can make sure, okay, so this person who is claiming, whoever is claiming that they are the original one, and it is going to check, okay, if they are the correct one, then let's verify it and let's do the task. If not, then simply deny the request and deny those requests those are coming to the verification, or just asking for credential reset or application access or any other access levels, right? So this is the one way we can do it. And so the verified ID is going to be widely used in many different services or different organizations or different use cases. And verified ID is using cryptography to verify all those verification across the different use cases, different scenarios. It also checks the face value or face verification, right? So that it verifies if the person who was verified before, and if it is matching with the recent one or the latest one who is trying to maybe reset the credentials or trying to get the access of the applications or something like that. And then it is going to simply validate if it is the correct one, then only grant the access, authorize, simply deny and reject it, right? So this way it is going to be very helpful, and is going to be great in verification and to reduce the identity theft, identity attacks in short, right? And yeah, let's look at few of the benefits. There are many benefits, right? But I have mentioned few here so that you can also go ahead and dig into each of those capabilities and look at what are the benefits, how I can leverage each of those capabilities effectively. And definitely there is a lot to learn from each of those capabilities and explore and use as per the different requirements. The first benefit is unified conditional access policies that we can create for each of those, and we can leverage for identities and networks, be it internal organization network or be it any other network, and then we can make sure only that network is accessed, and the resources which are part of that specific policy that we are going to wire up or tied up, and then those is going to be allowed. Second is least privilege access. It's going to provide for all the users who are accessing all those apps and resources, and then that is going to be safe and secure over the internet, and there is no blocker, and it is going to be continuously safe network overall. The third is improved user experience. So in both office as well as the remote workers has the appropriate access to work as well as use the applications without any issues and without any fear of the uh, attacks or anything of that sort, right? And then it is going to be accessible over the internet. So we don't really need to deploy any third-party solutions to make sure they are accessing the resources appropriately with a safe and secure network, a kind of VPN or any other service instead, right? And then fourth is reduced complexity and costs, right? So how it is going to reduce the cost as well as complexity? It's going to, because purely the managing security tools from multiple vendors becomes cumbersome, right? When we have so many tools, we need to make sure those tools are deployed appropriately. We need to know who is going to manage those, because if we don't have the appropriate resource to manage those resources or tools and systems, then we need to hire external, maybe vendors or consultants or someone to manage those. And then we should have or we should, or we have to manage those appropriately, right? And if we don't, or if we directly deploy Entra Suite of services, then we really don't need to do anything, because those are pretty straightforward and we can simply go ahead and deploy those across, right? So yeah, these are the few benefits. Definitely you can go ahead and look into each of those services separately and look for on benefits, and then you can take it further as when you go and try to implement, maybe explore those one by one and get hands dirty on it, basically. And at the end of this, uh, it is simply going to be comprehensive and secure access solution across all of these services, and it is going to enhance the security and user experience, be it internal or the people working from office location with the corporate network, and if people are working from home or remote locations, that's going to be a very good experience and any without issues, right? So yeah, that's all for this video I wanted to convey, and I hope you will like it. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to watch other videos around Microsoft 365, Azure, and FinOps. And yep, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.